Punjab National Q2 FY22 earnings conference call, hosted by Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. Participation in this conference call is by invitation only. Punjab National Bank reserves the right to block access to any person to whom an invitation is not sent. Unauthorized dissemination of contents or the proceedings of the call is strictly prohibited, and prior explicit permission and written approval of Punjab National Bank is imperative. Please note that this call is only for investor or analyst. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Suraj Das from Batlivala and Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jacob. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the call. On behalf of Batlivala and Karani Securities, we welcome you to Punjab National Bank's 2Q FY22 post-result conference call. We have with us today the management team of Punjab National Bank, represented by Mr. Mallikarjun Rao, MD and CEO, sir, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Executive Director, Mr. Bijay Dubey, Executive Director, Mr. S.K. Saha, Executive Director, Mr. Kalyan Kumar, Executive Director, and other senior officials of the bank. I would now request MD and CEO, sir, to start the call with his opening remarks on 2Q FY22 results, post which we will start the Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Right. Good afternoon once again, with only a small correction that Mr. S.K. Saha, who is the Executive Director, is currently not there. There was a requirement of official work where he has gone. Otherwise, I am there with Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. Dubey, and Mr. Kalyan Kumar, 3 EDs and the top management. Now, continuing with the brief presentation. In fact, our presentation has already been published in our corporate website. However, I will trigger the discussions by giving the brief of what we have done at the end of September 2021. With respect to the, I'll directly go to the asset quality. With respect to gross NPA, you must observe that we have reduced from 14.33 to 13.63 sequentially from June compared to June 21 in September 21. Similarly, the net NPA we have reduced it to 5.49 quarter on quarter from 5.84. Then the net profit what we have declared is 1,105 crore, which is 78% above when you compare with the year on year, that is June 21. Then with respect to capital adequacy ratio, CRAR, it improved to 15.20 in September from 15.19 in June or 12.84 in September 2020. Coming to the business figures, our retail has grown by 6.7%, agriculture has grown by little over 7%, MSME has grown by 2%. Overall retail growth, has been overall RAM growth has been reasonably good. Total loan book has grown by 2.7%. There has been, you are aware that because of the pressure of interest rates and the liquidity high available, the corporate line of credit, whatever we have given, has been changing from one bank to other bank. Still, we were able to create good amount of pipeline in the current quarter. With respect to priority sector and other advances, as we have achieved the targets whichever are required from the government perspective. And coming to certain critical points related to net interest income, where we have seen the reduction, and operating profit, where we have seen the reduction, though we have booked a profit of 1,105 crores. If you compare the net interest income with the Q2 of last financial year, we need to remember that in the last financial year until March 2021, for the 9 months period, there was no identification of NPA because of Supreme Court holding back on the judgment, and when the Supreme Court judgment came in the month of March, we have identified NPA. As a result, in the quarter ended September and December, the interest income appears elevated because the identification of NPA not being there, interest reversal was not there. That is one reason. Second reason, because of the pressure of interest rates, we have drastically reduced our interest rates for the MSME and retail segment in view of the competition, and we have also reduced our processing fee, particularly for the for the period from July onwards, once the COVID wave has picked up. Now we expect that these kind of prices and other things will moderate in the next couple of months to come. However, there are certain other expenses which have become in this quarter only. For example, the expenditure related to pension, 30% when the family pension has been done, RBI has permitted us to spread it over a period of 5 years, and the total 5 years component comes to 3,800 crores, out of which this year applicability, one-third of it we have already provided in this quarter. Similarly, performance-linked incentive applicable for the yearly expenditure also has been booked in this quarter. That amount is around 270 crores. Other than that, there are few staff-related expenditure, particularly the transfers and other expenditure which gets booked in quarter one because of COVID. When the other things are delayed, they got booked here. So there was a cumulative impact of few expenses which has also contributed to the decrease. Another important factor was one-time profit was there last quarter, around 630 crores out of the recovery in Kingfisher account. The current operating profit appearing at 4,000 crores at the end of September, it does not actually reflect the potential of the advances book of our bank. Our December projection will be anything between 5,000 to 5,500 crores, which is a normal one. Even if you look at earlier guidance also what we had given, 22,000 to 24,000 crores is our operating profit expected in the financial year, which we will be confidently able to achieve by making up in the next 2 quarters. This quarter is a little amount of an aberration since we have taken care of various other factors. Coming to the provisioning, the credit cost remained at 1.47, which even earlier we had indicated that it would be hovering between 1.25 to 1.5. Accordingly, it has stood at 1.47. There was a write back of around 1,271 crores because of settlement of DHFL account, which was provided 100%. That was also utilized. And second, there is a new NPA in the September related to Slay Group amounting to 2,800 crores. Whereupon we have provided 40% so that in future we will not have any difficulty in terms of when the settlement takes place. You will also observe that there is a tax negative just before the net profit. The amount was roughly around 230-300 crores, but the actual figure is around 700 crores. That 700 crores was a provision done by the bank earlier against the dispute between the tax authorities, but the judgment came in favor of the bank. As a result, that we have reversed. But the reversed amount in entirety we have utilized for providing to SREI account. SREI requirement is only 15% based on the record of recovery when the account has become NPA. However, we have provided additionally by upfronting the provision by additional 25%. So we utilized that 700 crores there. And because the requirement of provisions were limited and as was expected, the net profit as per the guidance given by us stood at 1,105. Still we retain our guidance that our overall profit would be between 4,000 to 6,000 crores. It could be so that in the next 2 quarters the profit may go be maybe around 1,500 each. Coming to Treasury has continued to contribute up to H2. Last Q1 it was around 1,100 crores what we got Treasury income, and this quarter it is around 1,030 crores. And though probably it will come down in the next 2 quarters, but still we have not used any amount for the HTM. As per RBI guidelines, 5% of HTM is available, which assures me around 650 to 700 crores of profit whenever we do that. We'll be doing it appropriately before the prices move up. So otherwise, in the next 2 quarters, our Treasury income estimate could be anything around 1,200 to 1,300 crores, what we are expecting. This is the overall position with respect to what we have done, and now I am open for the queries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone phone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Subrat Trivedi from SBI Life. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for taking my question. This is regarding the fresh slippage. So in Q2, while in most of the segments the slippage has been much lower than that of Q1, in the other segment it is much higher. So if you can throw some color as to in which segments within this other it has been high and why.
That 4,031 contains 2,800 of SREI.
2,031 crores. Okay.
If you look at retail slippage was 650 crores, agriculture 1,384, MSME 1,555. Everything is under control. Others category, what you see 4,031. There are two big accounts. One is 2,800 crores of SREI. Another is Entertainment City around 800 crores.
Okay. And any guidance on what could be the recoveries and upgrades for the full year?
Right. If you have seen the recovery in current quarter itself in Q2, 9,126, which you must have observed, this 9,126 comprises of 1,589 from retail and 1,256 from agriculture, 2,947 from MSME, and 3,334 from others. So what I wanted to drive away the point is that the recoveries have been higher than the slippages in the current quarter. If you take out the exception of 2,800 crores of SREI, which we are aware, the recovery has been much higher than the slippage. Similar element of performance we are foreseeing in the next 2-3 quarters. And with respect to the recovery, if I want to give you the little color on that, we are expecting 1,500 crores of recovery through NCLT cases in the next 2 quarters. And the further recovery and upgradation, I am expecting anything around 15,000 crores. So roughly, it would be anything between 16,000 to 18,000 crores. That would be recovery come upgradation in the next 2 quarters. And our slippages will be controlled at a gross level at 8,000 crores in the 2 quarters. However, when you club all these things, because in H1 the slippage has been 13,700 crores roughly, our guidance has been between 16 to 18,000. That means in the slippage, whatever has happened, now there will be a further upgradation during the next 2 quarters, and overall for the year-ending slippage will be between 16 to 18,000. But at the gross level, next 2 quarters it could be around 7,000 crores to 7,500 crores. You must have observed that slippage out of the slippage of Q1, we have upgraded 2,500 crores in Q2. So based on that kind of a past background, I am giving these details.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mahrukh Adajania from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. So my question is on margin. So you did explain that retail and MSME rates have come down. So the rate reduction is the only explanation for lower margins, because margins have declined quite sharply.
No, there are a couple of other reasons also. One is that impact is only 150 crores in the quarter. The impact of rate reduction in retail and MSME, overall impact has been roughly 150 crores. However, that is related to retail. But otherwise, large amount because of the high element of liquidity available, the repricing of the advances has taken place during the quarter. In many of the corporate advances, wherever we have funded at MCLR-based funding, it has been repriced at repo-linked pricing and G-Sec-linked pricing. That is a major impact on the income. I am expecting this to moderate down from December onwards. And because of other factors also contributing, we have seen lower net interest income, lower margin and lower operating profit. But some of the factors will not be there in the current quarter. So there will be a better performance in the current quarter. And furthermore, in quarter number 4, because the interest rate I am expecting to moderate down, because as per the RBI indication itself, they will suck the liquidity, expected to reduce the liquidity to 2.5 lakh crore, 2.5 trillion by December 2nd week. So these are the expectations.
Got it, sir. Yeah, and you said that the demand recovery was 1,097 crores. Is that what you said?
What is that?
The recovery from DHFL.
1,217 crores.
1,271.
1,271.
Okay, sir. Sir, and what is the status on Air India now in terms of what our exposure is and how much is secured, how much is not?
No, in our case, everything is government guaranteed only. except 400 crores, we have an exposure of 5,457 crores, against which 450 crores is the one where the government guarantee is not available. Remaining entire amount guarantee is available. Number one, as you are seeing in the public domain, we are also seeing in the public domain. Discussions have already started. We are expecting that the resolution could take place to a greater extent by December, and if any residual area is there in the next quarter, that is in Q4.
But so if there is a haircut, will you have to provide for it till the government guarantee is invoked, or how does it work?
No. See, now that resolution is decided, if you go through the RBI circular also, there is a requirement of pursuing for the resolution, and if there is any reason of delay in resolution, there is a provision requirement to be done. That is an accounting issue. However, coming back now, because the resolution is in the sight, everything is in the pipeline, we are expecting that the things should be, to a greater extent resolved. When I say greater extent, the resolution with respect to the Tatas who have bid for it will be completed by December, and the other things where some of the debt will be transferred to another account where assets will be transferred by the Government of India, that could take another 1 quarter for resolution.
Right, but in the interim, will we have to make any provisions or?
Maybe request.
No.
We have already done that as per RBI guidelines.
Okay, so no further provision.
Not by government guarantee.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Karan Gupta from KP Synergist. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, you mentioned some one-off expenses related to employee funds, etc. Could you just quantify what the total was for this quarter?
When I say one-off expense, it is related to the year. For example, performance-linked incentive, 271 crores we have booked in this quarter. That is related to employee. Second, yearly transfers generally take place in the first quarter itself. Because of COVID, that was spread beyond first quarter. In fact, we did not do anything in the first quarter, even though we have done everything was affected in the second quarter. Generally, around 50 to 100 crores, 70 to 100 crores will be the expenditure on complete overall bank when we make the transfers. Last year, we could not do many transfers because of severity of COVID, but this year there was some element of leeway. As such, we have done transfers even backlog together. So there is one more area. Second, the NPS contribution increased from 10% to 14%, which anyway regularly it is required to be done. But the pendency of 10 months amounting to roughly 120 crores also we have taken care. Then there was also a requirement of employee medical related issue, that is around 139 crores which we have done. Another provision, related to pension, where the 30% provision pension has come for the family pension without any limit. There the overall requirement is 3,800 crores as per RBI guidelines to be spread across 5 years. It comes to roughly 750 to 780 crores for the year. Now this quarter being number 2, 1/3 we have done the provisioning. So this provision anyway will continue in the next quarter, that 250 crores, which we will take care in normal. It is not a one-off provision. It is a new provision started, which was not there earlier. So I would like to signify that these expenditures were not there earlier, which are done in this quarter. Some of them will continue, some of them will not be there.
Okay, sir, appreciate that. And sir, one more question. So with the repricing of credit lines as well as the lower interest rates that you're offering to the retail and MSME segment, have you seen an increased competitiveness for the bank, or are you seeing do you expect higher loan growth compared to other banks, or do you think now you're at par with the competition was? And so basically, are you expecting accelerated loan growth going ahead?
See, frankly speaking, prior to this quarter, that means in the quarters of December, March and June, tremendous amount of competition was there from other banks, where some of our smaller accounts in MSME category with a lower interest offered by the other banks were taken over. That was a very important trigger for us. Then we have completely reviewed in all the zones, and after taking the feedback and also understanding what kind of interest rate is offered by the other bank who was taking over our accounts, we have reduced the interest rate. So the purpose was two-dimensional. One purpose is to arrest the takeover at any cost. There was a call given by us that not a single account should be allowed to be taken over. That we have achieved from the month of July onwards. Second was taking advantage of this, increasing the credit. So reasonably, at the end of September, we have done the growth if you compare with others, even in overall credit as well as in other segments. But the growth will be much better in the December quarter because from 1st of October, we have launched a campaign for all these areas. And as on today, within 1 month, I am seeing a very reasonable sanctions which have come in all these areas. So this has got two dimensions. One is to arrest the takeover. Second is to see that the growth will be there. So our guidance of 6 to 8% growth by March, we are very confident of achieving that because of these measures.
Okay, sir. And one final question, sir. With regards to occupancy costs, etc. So after the mergers, we've noticed the occupancy costs have also gone up this quarter. So any guidance for that going ahead? Do you expect any cost savings, etc., or should we expect a similar level?
When you say occupancy cost, are you looking at the employee cost to the income ratio?
No, I'll just pull up. No, apart, in your operating expenses, apart from employee expenses, there was other operational expenses also that have increased. So I just wanted to. So
there are two things. The ratios appear to be a little distorted because of the income being low. So denominator is low. Second, even on this value wise, if you look at, yes, there has been in the employee cost as well as other costs. Employee costs, I have already given explanation to you as to what were the factors. In others, there are certain AMCs of the technology applications which were done in the quarter two, which are actually undertaken yearly once. And these AMCs, majority of them were paid in the quarter two. That is one. And second, while we were undertaking the exercise of rationalization of branches, wherein almost 750 branches we have merged with other branches, the residual issues related to lease payments completely we have cleaned, and those payments are also were done in quarter two. As a result, you will find that there is an increase in the cost. But these are also actually one-off cases. Now regular cost will be there, but otherwise it will not be a recurring cost.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Appreciate your responses.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants, you may enter *1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Bhavik Shah from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So thanks for the opportunity. So first, I wanted to check, so in your slide of movement of NPA, recovery includes written off accounts, and I wanted to understand the accounting for which I guess RBI had asked to knock off from provisioning.
Correct. See, RBI 30th of August circular has indicated about two areas. One is the provision required to be done on M2M to be booked to the operating income rather than at the provisioning level. And the second one is recovery from the written off accounts. What we have done at the end of September is that M2M we have booked to the operating income. Thereby, there was an impact on operating profit to the extent of around 168 crores. Yes. And in terms of recovery from written off accounts, we have still shown in other income only. And accordingly, whatever we mentioned in our books of accounts as well, notes of accounts.
Okay. And sir, with respect to just reconciling the overall restructuring number, so restructuring under 1.0 has been around 10,000 crores, 7,000 crores, and 2.0 is 10,000. So, and MSME is additional 2,700 crores.
Correct.
So there is no overlap, right?
There is no overlap.
Okay. And sir, so there's a disclosure in the BSE filing where there have been repayments from restructuring 1.0 and slippages from 1.0. Sir, I think, so can you just go through the filing? I didn't understand the reporting.
No, actually, in terms of the OTR, that is restructuring, RBI guidelines say that if the DPD is more than 30 days, the account has to be identified as an NPA. If I understand your point exactly. So those accounts where there was DPD is more than 30 days out of the OTR first, we have already identified them as NPAs.
Okay. Okay. And sir, just one last thing.
Yes. Hello.
Sir, indicatively, sir, what will be the slippages from the restructured MSME book and how are they performing?
In MSME book, restructured book.
Yes, sir.
No, that is what I indicated. No? It is only a small amount.
Okay. Okay, sir. So thank
That
you.
is 52 crores.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have the next question from the line of Mohit Surana from CLSA. Please go ahead.
If I heard you correctly, you said that in the corporate segment, there was some relinking of loans which were previously based on MCLR-based rate to repo-linked pricing. Did I hear you correctly?
No, it is not relinking. It is repricing. The reason is it is not the loan being continued and rate has been changed. These were all short-term loans. Initially, we were giving for 1 month MCLR and 3 months MCLR. After 30 days or 90 days when it is paid as WCDL, they were not ready to take at MCLR base. Then we had to give an other external rate that is either GSEC based or repo based. That is what I was indicating about repricing. It is not a continuous loan, it is a short-term loan, WCDLs, which they regularly take, and those were repriced very aggressively in the last 3 months.
Okay, understood, sir. Sir, and one more thing, I just wanted to understand that, some of these repricing in corporate as well as retail MSME, at which point in quarter were they done? I'm just asking because I just want to know that the NIMs that we have achieved in this quarter, can we assume the same kind of a run rate? Or, if these adjustments were done, say in the middle of the quarter, then there are some more, pressure in NIMs to come in the subsequent quarters. Just wanted to understand.
Effective from August. In the current quarter, if you look at August and September were the months where it was implemented, and the impact is not very high in MSME and other things. It is only 150 crores of the impact in 2 months. So roughly around 75 crores impact in a month. If you compare with around 4,000 crores of an interest income what we get in every month, it is around 75 crores. But the more impact is on repricing, which anyway a short-term phenomena that is going to undergo change in the next quarter. That is in the current quarter from October to December.
Okay, so you will again reprice those loans when, conditions are more conducive to repricing them higher. You will again reprice them based on MCLR rate, which you were doing.
Absolutely. If the liquidity is drying down, automatically price will go.
Okay, sure. Understood.
The high element of liquidity we are carrying, there was no choice but to utilize that, because otherwise in the investment, I am getting 3.35 if I am putting in repo, reverse repo. If I go for the variable reverse repo option, last time when they have gone for 2 lakhs, the average rate was around weighted average was 3.55. So if I am getting more than that, I am deploying here. So this position will improve from November onwards, mid of November onwards. Slowly, RBI will be reducing the liquidity.
Sure, sir. Understood. Thanks a lot for your response.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants, you may press *1 to ask a question. We have the next question from the line of Saurabh Kumar from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Sir, just wanted to ask 2 questions. One is, can you quantify what your agri, in your agri book, what is the total gold loan book or the total gold loan book at the bank?
Gold loan is very small. Actually, our bank is not very strong in gold loans. Since it is a northern-based bank, it is very low. It is even around 400 to 500 crores.
Yeah.
As low as that.
Okay. And the second, sir, is on your comments on your PPOP. You said 5,000 to 5,500 crores per quarter. So basically, the core number, if you remove the the treasury income, that's your core PPOP should be now 4,000 crores.
No. What I said is a reasonable treasury income. Treasury income also currently, if you look at in the last 1.5 years, it has been elevated. An average income for treasury will be roughly around 2,500 to 3,000 crores in a year. It is also a cycle depending upon the price which will go. But last year our income was more than 4,500 crores. And this year we are expecting, already we have got 2,130 crores in H1. But in H2 it will not be more than 1,200. So it will come to around 3,300. So my 5,500 expectation was in a quarter, or if you look at 22,000 crores for the entire year of operating profit, the reasonable estimate from the treasury will be anything around 3,500 crores.
Okay, so your core PPOP should be in that 19,000 crore odd mark.
That is without treasury, correct.
Okay, and if we account for the...
Between 4,000 to 4,500 crores will be my interest income and other income.
Okay, and if we remove for the RBI circulars or the recovery incomes, then what should the core PPOP will be? What I'm trying to get is once you fully migrate to this new RBI circular where, the recovery income.
That could be, you can say on an average we are booking around 1,000 crores of profit. 1,000 crores is per quarter I'm saying. 1,000 crores is coming because one or the other bigger accounts, they get settled in every quarter where we must have made full provision, 100% provision. For example, DHFL is one, of course, DHFL provision right back only we have taken. So, 1,000 crores will be roughly anything around 800 to 1,000 in a quarter. So, it could be 3,600 to 4,000 crores in a year.
Okay, so if we take 22,000 crores for the year, 3.5 for treasury and about 4,000 crores for the recoveries, the core number should be closer to the 17.
6,000 to 6,000, suppose 7,000 crores, if you remove from 22,000, 15,000 crores should be the credit income. Straight away.
Credit is the credit. Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anand Dama from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, wanted to understand basically that you said you had two large lumpy accounts being recognized in the current quarter. I think one is Shrey and another is the entertainment company.
Are there around 890 crores.
Sorry, sir?
790 crores.
Okay. Sir, are there more lumpy accounts which are there in pipeline in terms of NPA?
Not many. There are 6-7 accounts where we are expecting, but that is overall amounting to 700 crores.
Okay. Those are all small and
in the entire residual part of the financial year, that is H2, maximum it could be anything around 1,300 to 1,400 crores.
Sure. And sir, any large accounts which are there up for resolution, particularly in the power sector or the infra sector that you foresee in next 3 to 6 months?
No. What I have estimated is 1,500 crores recovery I am expecting in the next 2 quarters from NCLT. All are smaller accounts only. Roughly around 20 accounts are there where I am expecting 800 crores recovery by Q3. And there are 7 accounts we are expecting around 750 crores to 800 crores recovery in Q4.
Okay. So does that mean that basically not any larger account is actually expected to be resolved?
No, larger account is there, but the extraction is very low. For example, Jet Airways is there. What you are getting is very small amount. Splendid Metal Products is there. Bigger account only, but what you are getting is smaller amount. So like that. So I am counting on only amount what I am going to get, even though the account is bigger one.
Sure, that is a recovery. But say for instance from your NPAs, the entire exposure will move out.
920 crores in Q3 and 2,200 crores in Q4. So what I told you, 1,500 I am getting recovery. It will effectively reduce the outstanding of around 6,200 crores.
Yeah, that is I think very helpful.
That is what I want. You wanted that I am giving it. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Sure.
Comprising around 27 accounts.
Okay. And sir, what is the status on this NARCL transfer? When it will happen? And in that case, how much of our NPAs actually will get reduced? Because I believe some of these accounts which are there in the NARCL are basically written off completely.
Absolutely right. See, NARCL, we have identified 8,800 crores, out of which in phase 1, which we are expecting the transfer to take place before 31st of December, it is 6,700 crores. 6,000 out of the 6,700 crores, there is an amount of 700 crores, which is a outstanding account. Otherwise, 6,000 crores is written off. So not much of reduction will be there in the gross advances. However, there could be a profit of around 162 crores. When these are transferred there, we are expecting an extraction of 18%. Out of that 18%, 15% will be the cash component. So which comes to roughly around 160 to 165 crores. That could be going to the profit in the quarter 3.
Okay. So NARCL as such is also not going to help you much in terms of NPA reduction. But
NARCL will not give me in the first phase, probably in the second phase. But what we have done is we have identified around 6,600 crores of the accounts where we are either member of consortium or member in the multiple banking, where other banks have sold. One of the banks have sold to ARC. So what we are now going to handle, that is before December we want to sell them to ARC. Because already one of the banks had sold, which we would like to hasten the process. That out of the 6,000 crores, almost 4,500 crores is the one which we are expecting to go out of the gross book. Like I indicated in the beginning, our gross NPA is 13.63. By December, I am expecting to be below 13%, and our net NPA is 5.49. I am expecting it to be below 5% by December 31st.
Okay, and sir, will there be a phase 3 and phase 4 as well in the NARCL?
It will be there. Phase 2 will be there first, because now the criteria was where each bank has 500 crores and above and written off accounts. So this was the criteria. Now the criteria will not be written off. All the accounts will be taken care of.
And sir, what is happening in terms of recovery from Nirav Modi case or from Mr. Mallya?
See, Nirav Modi case, the amounts which are coming from abroad are not very huge amounts, very small, and also legal cost is very high. Suppose we recover 40 crores roughly, legal cost itself goes to around 15 to 16 crores and residual comes to us. But the major development has happened locally when recently Enforcement Directorate's claim was nullified by NCLAT in terms of the Vijay Mallya's case, that is Kingfisher case. Thereby the consortium of banks could sell the shares of United Breweries. So that side effect has come on Nirav Modi as well, because there were assets which were confiscated amounting to 1,000 crores. Now now the ED has permitted us to file for the same, and we have already filed. I am expecting that these assets are handed over to the recovery officer and we will go for auction. Some of the part of recovery could happen before December, maybe around 400 crores, and the remaining around 500 to 600 could come in the next quarter.
Okay. And sir, any power sector resolution in terms of takeover of these assets by NTPC or some other companies, if that can happen, and whether that is going to benefit us in any way?
Not much in power sector now. Yes.
Okay. Sure, sir. That's very helpful, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Prabal Gandhi from Antique Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
So you mentioned that fixed back of nearly 700 crores, and in this quarter we utilized around 340 crores. So can we expect more utilization in coming quarters?
Which one?
That takes that disputed amount.
It is only one-off case where the provision was done in the earlier years with respect to a dispute of reckoning certain amount of exemptions that they have settled the last 3 years of the tax returns, as a result of which they have recognized our contention. That is the reason why the 700 crores as a one-off case has been reversed. While reversing, what we have done is this entire 700 we have added to the provision of Shrey account, as I have indicated, because the provision now coverage is around 40%. Further, if you see the balance sheet, you will find that provision for income tax negative is only 345 crores. That means another 355 crores we have reversed from the DTA.
Okay. And going forward, what is the tax rate that we should assume?
No, same thing. That is, tax rate is, we are not shifted to the, new tax regime. We are still working on that, and we are not recognizing any DTA. In the last 1.5 years, since 1/4/2020, you must have observed that we are not recognizing any additional DTA. On the contrary, as of now, around 2,100 crores DTA we have reversed from 1/4/20 onwards.
Got it. Sir, on the restructuring and on the ECLGS, if you can comment how the performance has been of the books so far.
ECLGS 1, 2, 3, 4. the various tranches were there. 14,000 crores we have sanctioned and 12,700 crores is roughly the amount of disbursement. Now, because of the further change in terms of eligibility, what government has brought about very recently, we are expecting that we could sanction anything around 6,000 to 7,000 crores additionally. Work is in progress, and we are expecting these things to be crystallized before December.
And how has been the performance for the ECLGS disbursed so far?
It has been good. Absolutely, there has not been any problem, except very few accounts, very small accounts.
And on the restructuring front, what is the performance like?
Restructuring front also, earlier I indicated that there was a small amount. Overall, 200 crores is the one which we have identified as an NPA from OTR 1 because of the overdue being more than DPD 30 days.
That was slipped into NPA.
Correct.
Sir, and just last question on the corporate side. So, in your initial remark, you mentioned that we have created a good pipeline for the corporate by sanctioning good amount. What is the sanction pipeline that we have?
You see, if you look at overall, there are two components: in principle approval and final sanction. Together, 1,25,000 crores. In principle approval is around 68,000 crores, and the remaining is final sanctions given where even disbursements only will have to take place. Already sanctions have been conveyed. So we are expecting that these disbursements could take place up to 31st of March. Further, we are creating pipeline. We want to create a pipeline of roughly around 2 lakh crore by December. So the disbursement will happen as it is required rather than on our anticipation. The expected disbursement generally is of the pipeline around 30%.
30% of the sanction limit usually get disbursed.
So sanctions, whatever we convey, we expect 30% only to happen over a period of time. That means, suppose we create a pipeline of 2 lakh crore, around 60,000 crores could be disbursed up to March.
Right. And sir, which are these segments which are garnering such strong sanction?
Various. For example, state government is there, which is in the public domain. If you have observed, we have given to around 5,100 crores to Uttar Pradesh infrastructure UPEDA, where we have discounted the cash flows of Agra Lucknow Expressway. So that disbursement is in the progress. Similarly, there are various other government-related, public sector-related where we have sanctioned. There are road projects as well. More than 24 road projects we have approved, even though each project amount of sanction is not very high. It could be around 300 to 400 crores on an average, but there are more than 24 projects. So that also, it is a pipeline created. Slowly disbursement will take place based on that. There are even other, some of the other categories in the infrastructure segment where we have funded. So these are the, pipelines. Some of the pipelines could happen immediately because some of the sanctions are to NBFCs also. They could happen immediately.
And these are all linked, meaning if the interest rate goes up, the interest component will increase for us as well.
What did you say?
The projects where you have sanctioned, these are all linked. So in case the utilization takes place and if the interest rate increases, we are going to get benefited out of it.
Correct. Absolutely right. There is no fixed rate we have given, not to anybody. It is all, even if it is an external benchmark like repo rate or GSEC, they are all margin based. And if the repo rate increases, automatically the price will increase. And if the GSEC increases, automatically it will increase.
Sorry.
But for road projects, we have given linked to MCLR only.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Sakari from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Sir, sorry, I missed the comment on the NII decline this quarter, sir. If you could repeat that one, please.
NII was 6,353 this quarter. If you compare with the Q2 of last year, it was 8,455. The first comment what I made was that last year, as you remember, NPA identification was not done because of Supreme Court embargo on that. The judgment came only in the month of March. As a result, the quarter-ended interest income for September and December was not impacted by the reversal of interest which otherwise would have happened through NPA. That is one reason. Second reason what we have done is we have reduced the pricing in the MSME segment aggressively during the current quarter. from August. So 2 months of an impact was roughly around 150 crores reduction. Then there was an aggressive repricing in corporate, short-term corporate book where people take WCDLs. So that book is more than 50,000 crores where repricing aggressively has taken place. So these are the reasons. Now, how whether these reasons will prevail now or in the next quarter there will be improvement? I'm expecting improvement in the next quarter because of the high liquidity only this problem has come, whereas the liquidity is slowly being removed by the RBI, and I'm expecting them to bring it down from 9 lakh crore to 2.5 lakh crore by December second week. As a result of which there will be little amount of hardening in the pricing and liquidity reduction. So our pricing will be moving in a better manner in the Q3 and Q4. So this was the detail what I had given earlier.
And what is the reversal because of slippages this quarter?
It was very low. Our slippage was, as I have indicated to you, 7,600, out of which roughly around 4,000 crores is only corporate book. 2,800 crores is one account, two accounts from FEI Group, and around 700 crores is from one account, that is Entertainment City, and one more account is there around 200 crores. This is the corporate book. And interest reversal, how much it is? Huh? 616 is the interest reversal.
Got it. And sir, would you have the segmental yields that you are earning on a normalized basis, excluding the slippage impact across retail, corporate, and MSME?
No, we have not done that. We're taking your feedback. Next time onwards we'll do. But then, when we are giving the yield and other things, it is only earning assets. We don't take what you call all other assets.
So, for example, the yield on advances that we report is a number like 6.5%, right? So it's almost like very close to what we are earning on the investment book itself. So across the segments, just wanted to understand how is the deviation.
See, 6.85, which is appearing in a half year, if you look at the segment, corporate segment only will be very low.
Mm-hmm.
Because retail and MSME is still, in spite of reduction in the rate, our yield is still much better.
Got it. And sir, second one was on the OPEX line, how should we look at the normalized run rate from here on?
Operating profit.
Operating expenses?
Operating expenses, you see, if you look at it, has not been very high. Only very few areas where expenditure look to be a little higher, where I've indicated already. Couple of areas. One is in the segment of employees, another is other than employees. Other than employees, the AMC cost, cumulative cost has come in the current quarter, which was pending for almost 1.5 years, related to the amalgamation and various license which we have taken for the combined entity. So that has come. That is one of the areas. And then we have rationalized 750 branches during this period, where we have completely cleaned with respect to the pendency related to lease payments. That was also one cumulative impact which has come. This will not be repetitive in the next quarters. So we'll be able to control normally in terms of the next few quarters, like what I have indicated. Our operating profit could be anything around 5 to 5,500. Even though the MTM will be booked to operating income area only, but still the operating expenses, and then still we will show the recovery from the write-off accounts in other income. So with that expectation, next quarter and onwards, we will be expecting the operating profit to be between 5,000 to 5,500 crores.
Got it. So last one is, what have we guided in terms of slippages and reductions for this year?
Right. I have indicated that if you look at our slippage now, it is half year, 13,700 roughly. If you look at gross slippage addition, it will be 2,500 more. That means Q1 slippage 2,500 we have upgraded in Q2. So similarly, gross slippage for Q3 and Q4 we are expecting around 7,700 roughly. However, overall slippage will be between 16,000 to 18,000 crores, because I am expecting further upgradation of the slippage of Q2 and successively like that.
Understood. Got it, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Himanshu Taluja from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So what is your total SMA overdue? As you have already given the SMA 2 number, if you can give your total SMA overdue.
See, total SMA, if you look at just 1 minute. ₹25,000 crores for 5 crores and above.
Yeah. Okay.
Out
And
of that,
below
9,000 and odd we have shown already.
And below 5 crores.
9,000 and odd, for your information, it includes Air India, 5,500.
Okay. Air India was 45 billion or 5,500 crore?
5,500.
Okay. Sure, sir. And sir, this your SMA overdue below 5 crores?
Below 5 crores, sir. No, SMA 0 also. If it is SMA 2 only, overall, including above everything, it is 12,000 crores.
12,000 crore.
That is SMA 2 only, I am saying.
SMA 2 below 5 crores.
Below and above everything together, it is 12,000 crores. Excluding Air India.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ajay Chaudhary, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have been shareholder of your bank since 2018 when share price was around 200 and now it is around 42. And meanwhile, you have raised money from government and other sources multiple times to cover high NPA and to raise your capital ratio. So we are in a huge loss. What are the steps the bank is taking to ensure shareholders get rewarded? And when do you see that we can get to a point that we start giving?
আপনি যে ব্যক্তির সঙ্গে কথা বলছেন তিনি আপনার কলটি হোল্ডে রেখেছেন অনুগ্রহ করে লাইনটি ধরে থাকুন आप जिस व्यक्ति से बात कर रहे हैं उस
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, that query is over. Question is completed.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So first thing is that I appreciate your tenacity in still holding on to us because you told that you purchased at 200 almost in 2018. I do agree. If you look at from 2017 to 18, when the government has declared the capital infusion of roughly 2 trillion, 2 lakh crore across all public sector banks, the prices have gone up. And afterwards, there were various developments with respect to PNB individually and with respect to other banks as a result of which share price has gone down. Now, I'm not going more in detail into that. Now, what is future I would like to put before you. September 2019 was the last when government has infused capital in Punjab National Bank. The amount was 16 crores or 62 crores roughly. Now, afterwards, we are not gone to government. The reason why the price of public sector banks in general and PNB in particular do not move in the market is not a very big piece being available for trading in the retail segment. So that is the reason why consciously bank did not go for capital from government. In the last 1.5 years, we have gone for QIP 2 times, even though the valuation was low at that time, but we wanted a good amount of piece to be available in the market so that trading takes place better. Now the value to increase over a period of time will depend on the perception of the market with respect to the performance what we have done and how we are going to perform for the future in the days to come. The 42 rupees today is because there has been a reduction of roughly 9% as an immediate reaction to what we have declared the results as of yesterday in the evening. Otherwise, it was around 46 rupees yesterday. I am expecting that as per the investors' discussions, what do they take place? So we will improve from here. Our benchmark of 42.65 as indicated by the analysts, we have crossed very recently, and now the bank is not expected to go down below that. And if you are talking about 200 rupees, probably I am not having any reply as to when we will achieve that. But I am expecting that in the next 1.5 years, there will be a good value for Punjab National Bank because in many areas we have bottomed out on internal things to clean the asset quality existing as well as bringing in better underwriting standards in terms of the future asset accretion what we are having. So based on this, I can assure you that the bank's position in terms of the share pricing will be much better in the next 1 to 2 years.
Thank you. Mr. Ajay, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions as there are several participants waiting for their turn. The next question is from the line of Suraj Das from BNK Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, a couple of questions. So you clearly explained the rationale behind drop in NII for this quarter. I just want to know, sir, what will be the normalized level for NII from here on for next couple of quarters?
See, I indicated about actually the operating profit. Now, with respect to NII, so the figure at the end of Q2 was 6,353, in Q1 7,234 of the current year. If you looked at it was 8,455 in Q1 of the last year. But if you ask me the average level, it should be 7,200 to 7,500.
Okay, thank you, sir. So next question, just coming back to the restructuring question. So you have given two disclosure on slide 14 as well as on slide 32. So are these number additive? So let's say, the total restructured book will be 7,254 plus 10,244 and the figure on the slide 32, which is 3,422. If my understanding, correct me if my understanding is wrong. So the total
slide number 32 is a restructuring of the old. That is earlier restructuring where the MSME window was available and other accounts were available there. That is what is being indicated. But the OTR 1, OTR 2 are different. So this is mutually exclusive.
And so then the total restructuring would be something around 2.8% of loans, which is 209 billion. So additive of all this.
No. Earlier, see, what is the other page you said?
Slide number 14.
14. 1 minute. Slide number 14, the restructuring, if you see 7,254 OTR 1 and 10,244 in OTR 2. So together it is around 17,400 and this 3,400, 20,800.
Right. Understood, sir. And sir, any non-specific, provision, contingent provision that you are carrying as of now?
Non-specific provision?
Right.
No, if you say in Shrey we are required to make 15%, additional 25% we have made. So total 40% we have made.
Okay, understood. And sir, on the Diwan, so you recovered something around 1,200 crores. So how has been the accounting? All the recovery has been accounted as provision write back, or like for the bonds, you still carrying the provisions?
No, provision write back only. There is nothing to be carried provision. Why there is a requirement of provision? DHFL, because the change of management and as well as it is a sale through the NCLAT. Bond is not continued or given by the DHFL. It is given by pyramid.
And the market coupon.
And at the market coupon.
Right. Okay. So the whole recovery has been
1,270. We had provided 100%. So 1,270 crores of recovery has been a write back in the provision.
Understood, sir. And the last question, sir, from my side. So on the DTA, sir, what would be the outstanding DTA number as of now? And sir, what are your plans on moving on to new tax regime?
See, it is a high amount. Last time also we have indicated around 4,000 to 5,000 crores impact will be there on the P&L. And there are two ways of looking at. The impact on capital will not be there. Capital impact is only limited to 17 basis points. 17 basis points. So it's not going to impact us. However, if you book in entirety in the same year, it will impact the profitability, whereupon the dividend and other things will not be available. So if you look at the guidelines, it is not mandatory as on today. Any time it can be done. It can be shifted there. Of course, as on today, there are few banks like State Bank of India, Axis Bank, and other banks we have shifted. We are just waiting for the right opportune time. If the permission is given generally by RBI for debiting to reserves, that would be the best option anytime we can undertake. But I'm not sure about that. However, if everything goes as per plan in 22-23, probably we should be doing that.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I will come back in that case.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Sneha from Shubhkam Ventures. Please go ahead.
Sir, just wanted to know what is the outlook on the credit cost from here on, considering we are expecting lower slippages as well as upgrades and recoveries to remain higher on the second half?
No, what the guidance was given was for the year 21-22 will remain the same, between 1.25 to 1.5. See, this quarter it was 1.47. Last quarter it was 1.72. So the averaging will reach roughly between 1.25 to 1.5. Later on, next onwards, it will reduce. For example, in Q3 and Q4, I am expecting it could be around 1.1, 1.2. But the average will be around 1.25.
And how much slippages are we expecting from the restructured book that can slip going ahead?
Not much. You see, as on today, as per RBI guidelines, DPD is more than 30 days, you need to identify as an NPA, not 90 days. So 200 crores we have identified as on today of the OTR1 when we have done the restructuring in the first stance as per the August 6th guidelines.
And how do we see the margins to be panning out over the next 2 to 3 quarters?
It will improve. Actually, this time margin has gone down compared to the other quarters, but then it will improve.
And your cost to income ratio, sir? When we are expecting the treasury would be maintaining around that.
Predominantly, if you look at, because income being low, the ratio is highly elevated. But we'll come back to the position of what we were there in June.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashok Ajmera from S&P Global. Please go ahead.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sorry, I joined little late because so many things are happening around. Sir, there is a little disappointment looking at your results. My question is also margin in the loan growth has not taken place. How the margins have gone down? I mean, whether the interest is there on the existing loans, or what is the reason, sir, for this dismal performance in this quarter of the bank, sir?
Right. Since you joined late, probably you did not hear to what explanation I had given earlier. So I would like to repeat the same. There was a reduction in interest price for retail and MSME, but the impact was not very high. The impact has been 150 crores since this reduction took place in the month of August. So August, September together, 150 crores was the reduction out of this. However, the major reduction was because of the repricing of the short-term loans in the corporate book. Earlier, they were linked to MCLR of 1 month or 3 months, but in the last 3 months, there was an aggressive position of interest rate competition because of high amount of liquidity available. As a result, we had to offer linked to repo and linked to GSEC. This is the main reason. But this reason is going to improve in this quarter because the liquidity is slowly going down. Earlier, 9 lakh crore liquidity was there. Now it has already gone down to 7.5, and I'm expecting further it to go down up to 2.5 by December 2nd week. So in the process, the liquidity, once it gets reduced, the pricing also will be better.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mahrukh Adajania from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking my questions again. So I just wanted a few clarifications. Firstly, what was your guidance for gross slippage, sir, for the next 1 to 2 quarters?
What I have indicated was 7,800 crores of gross slippage. 7,800 crores gross slippage we are expecting in Q3 and Q4. Overall, if you look at in H1, our slippage has been 13,700 or 600. But for the entire year, it will be between 16 to 18,000.
Good. And net slippage will be?
When you say net slippage, what is the meaning?
Net of recoveries, upgrades, everything.
So that is what I mean. It is recovery and upgrade only. After that, it will be around 16 to 18,000 crores. That is recovery and upgradation inter alia NPA identified during the year. Otherwise, if you look at the recovery and upgradation of old NPA accounts, and my slippage will be, net slippage will maybe 0 also. So if I have to understand your question properly.
Yes, sir. So no, I just wanted to know what will be the gross slippage. So without recoveries, there may be net of inter-quarter recovery, but without any old recovery or upgrades or write-off. So that
see, if you look at in the current quarter also, our upgradation cash recovery was around 9,126. And if you look at our first slippage, it is only 9,077. So even including the increase in the existing NPA. So that means our net reduction was there little amount of around 50 to 100 crores. That means net there was no slippage. If you are talking about that kind of a discussion.
Yes.
If it is so, then there won't be any addition to NPA. That you can observe from in the last few quarters, the addition has been very, very limited in the net level. And in the next 2 quarters, it will not be there won't be any addition, there will be reduction.
Got it, sir. Got it. So, and you did quantify 3,800 crore of the pension impact, but what is the actual contribution taken this quarter? You said it's over 5 years, but
253 crores.
253.
Yeah. It is overall 3,800 divided by 5 years. And now since 3 quarters are there, once again that factor divided by 3 we have taken this quarter.
Got it. Perfect, sir. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavik Shah from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
All the questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jai Mundra from Batlivala and Karani Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Sir, just to clarify, I think this NII drop in first quarter, did we have some extraordinary income from Kingfisher or some other NPA account which was there, which was actually, which had bumped up the interest income in 1Q?
Yeah, correct. 634 crores.
Right. So, 630, okay, right. So, this quarter we had a drop of around, let us say, 900 crore.
Correct. Out of the 634 is that, another 300 crores is what I have told you about repricing and other.
Right. So, that is why the bump looks, or the drop looks much higher.
Correct.
Understood. Second, sir, if you can share rupees crore total non-specific provisions. So while you have provided additional on Sharei, but that has already gone in the hike in the rise in your PCR. So what is rupees crore of provision which is sitting outside of PCR? Maybe on restructuring or something else.
2,000 crores.
Sorry, how much, sir?
2,000 crores. In the slide number 14, we have indicated 756 crores in OTR 1 and 1,033 crores in OTR 2 and other restructuring. So together it is around roughly 1,900 to 2,000 crores.
Understood. And sir, if I were to break up your restructuring, outstanding restructuring, 1, 2 and previous restructuring which was, legacy restructuring, how much would the corporate, MSME, retail, agri, I think would be very minuscule, right?
Corporate is very low, 1,066 crores, which we have indicated in slide number 32.
Okay, 1,000.
1 minute. If you want to total all the three.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. See, others where we had given. Huh? That is only 1,066 crores. No. In OTR, we have done last time 7,000 crores. No? Correct. But where is that figure? 7,255. MSME. Other exposure, 5,468. So 5,468 and 1,066. So it is 6,600 crores.
Right. So how much is the corporate, sir?
6,600.
Okay. And how much is the retail and MSME?
You can say the remaining entire. For example, our total book is 17,400 plus 3, 20,800.
MSME 5,500.
So retail and MSME together will be 14,200.
Okay. And this includes even the MSME restructured scheme, right, which was started in January.
Correct. That includes everything.
So that includes everything.
Correct.
Understood, sir. And Now, sir, in terms of your SMA, so I think you have given the SMA movement for currency data. But if you can share some perspective on the overall SMA for the bank, I mean, including below 5 crores.
Yeah. For example, SMA 2, above 5 crores, we have indicated around 9,600 crores, which includes 5,500 to Air India.
Okay.
So if you remove 5,500 from 9,600, it is only 4,154, which is above 5 crores. If you calculate for everything, all the accounts SMA 2, excluding Air India, it is 11,500.
Okay.
That is the latest position.
Understood. And sir, just the last thing on this RBI Master Circular, which had said that recovery from write-offs should now be used as a credit to provisions. Would we be shifting to that circular, that accounting by third quarter, or there is some leeway?
See, there are two ways. One is that we are discussing at the IBA level. First thing is regarding M2M on investment. We have done that. Already we have debited to our expenses only. So this is the only one, even in the balance sheet of Q2, we have shown as other income. We will be observing from other banks, because if you have seen the balance sheet of State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, they have also done like this, and they have given a indication there in the notes of accounts. So no bank has so far done. We just wait and see from IBA, and if it becomes mandatory, then we'll show that.
I think there are a few private banks and IDBI Bank has done starting this quarter.
I have not seen that. But SBI has not done, HDFC has not done, Canara has not done.
Right. Understood, sir. And so that is this. And sir. So that is all from my side, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much for it.
No, I thought we could adequately explain with respect to the decrease in NII and operating profit. Yes. Otherwise, if you have seen the entire results, these are the only two elements which have probably today acted negatively in the price to go down. I expect that in the next few days, once the analysts keep on talking, the market will understand. There is no concern as far as our balance sheet is concerned, and I am expecting the improvement in the next quarter only because of few issues. There was a high element of pressure because of liquidity in terms of the pricing, where we were losing the advances. Losing means the short-term lending, they will pay the money and they will take from some other bank. So there was no choice but for us to offer the price at a lower level. As a result of this repricing, the income has gone down, but I am expecting that this quarter it will be much better. However, we have shown net profit effectively as promised 1,105, and we still stick to our guidance of profit of overall anything between 4,000 to 6,000 crores for the entire year. And next 2 quarters I am expecting the better profit, maybe around 1,200 to 1,500 each.
Right. And sir, ideally, whenever such situation happens, when there is a sharp drop between one quarter to another quarter in any of the line items, on PPT itself, sir, you can provide some qualitative things.
Okay,
like
I'll do that.
There was, let's say, in NII, there was a 600 crore was clearly one-off.
Correct.
Right? That was there in the base quarter. And similarly, in YOY base quarter, there was one of their interest, this NPA interest was not recognized.
Correct.
So that would anyway help other people. I mean, just looking at the presentation itself.
Absolutely, we'll do that. Thank you for the feedback.
Yes, sir. And last thing, sorry, on Diwan. So again, here, the non-cash recovery that we have got in the form of Piramal's bond, we have taken that as if these are cash, right? I mean, the other way could have been you could have taken the bonds at negligible value, but we have taken as same as let's say face value, right?
Yes. Yeah. Naturally, like that only we have to do. No, there's no way you can do. We see the point is whether you consider the cash recovery or otherwise. There are two elements of recovery. One element of recovery is cash. Another element of recovery is by way of a bond. Now 1,270 is the amount which we have recovered, as against the amount of outstanding of 3,200, 3,688 overall, including the investment. Since it was 100% provided, 1,270 was a write back in the provision. There is nothing which has come in the income. Operating income, we have not taken anything. Everything is a provision write back.
Right. Understood, sir. Yeah. Yeah, back to operator. Yeah, thank you.
Correct.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Suraj Das for closing remarks.
Thank you. On behalf of Batlivala and Karani Securities, we thank Punjab National Bank management for giving us the opportunity to host the call. Thank you everyone and have a good day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
On behalf of Batlivala and Karani Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Right. Thank you very much.